Okay, I've got something for you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode, and we are here for the Hungarian Grand Prix and the start of the second half of the season here for season 4 and run number 11 I believe of this season. So delving pretty far into this career mode now, episode 71, absolutely incredible, something I never thought I'd be saying a couple of months ago, and massive thank you to you guys for sticking around and supporting the series for as long as you have done. And I do have a wish. I do hope to do all 10 seasons of this career mode by the time the new game releases, some way or another. So we're going to try and stick with that and try and do that as much as we can for as long as we can. I mean, who knows? I might get to season 7 and be absolutely done with it, but you never know what the future holds. But that's my aim anyway. But as you just saw on screen right now, we've actually switched to the very first power unit, which we used right at the start of the season for this practice session, because I've got a little bit of use left in that one, and I want to make sure that I get the most out of it, and also I can use the other ones a bit less. And once after this practice session is over, then that'll be the end, and it will officially be RIP to power unit 1 basically, because obviously that's way too worn now for competitive purposes. So that one's going to go straight into the scrapyard, and we will switch it out to power unit number 2, which is the one we've been using recently. And that way we've got power unit 3 and 4 fresh without ever being used for the remainder of the season. I say fresh, I mean we use power unit 3 at Silverstone for the racing qualifying because I want to do a good race there. So even still, it's fairly fresh, and we'll use power unit 3 at Spa and power unit 4 at Monza. That's sort of the plan I've got in my head right now. But power unit 2, which is the one we will run for the rest of the weekend here, is one that we'll use for practice sessions from now on. So hopefully that will make things a little bit easier for power unit 3 and 4. But nevertheless, jumping into Friday practice here, and you will have noticed the first 3 parts of practice were actually wet because I did those in practice 1. And then for the qualifying performance test and the race strategy, I want to do those in accurate conditions. So I jumped into practice 2 and did them in the dry to make sure I got some accurate data. Also after practice, you see that we actually got a car competency unlock there, and improving the simultaneous development a little bit more, so we can now work on 3 upgrades at a time, which is also very, very good, as I did a classic event in between the last 2 races. But as you can see now, switching out the power units, and our power unit 1 is officially done, so RRP to that, and welcome back power unit 2, which we're going to try and get the most use out of this weekend as we now jump into Saturday qualifying here at Hungary. And I've got to say, based off of practice, the car felt good. I was quietly confident the car felt okay right now. I was a little bit going into this weekend expecting Ferrari to have the upper hand, but I felt quietly confident, and I thought we had a little something up our sleeve. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. If we now go into Q1, opting for the slower soft compound tyres, and across the line we do set a pretty good lap time there to go P7. Nothing spectacular, 1.4 off the pace. And I was a little bit concerned that that time might not be enough by the end of the session, but it actually was. Nobody else improved. So we go through in 7th place in Q1. Sebastian Vettel there, a ridiculous lap time going fastest. But now in Q2, opting for the faster super soft compound tyres. And I went out really early in the session because there was actually rain expected towards the end of Q2, and then eventually it would go dry again for Q3. So just a small little shower at the end of Q2, and I had to get out straight away just to make sure I didn't get caught by the rain. You can just see on screen right now, and on the chassis there's a few droplets of rain just dropping now, so we got a lap in just in time and go P2 there. But at the end of the session we would drop down to P3 behind Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Raikkonen, but still all very close. Yet some ridiculous lap times being put in by the Ferraris, so I was a little bit concerned at this point, so I had to respond and get a good lap on the board. So we jump into Q3 now, and let's see what our lap is at the end of the session. As we go into the first corner, 3rd gear, pick up the first apex, short shift to 4th gear, personal preference, and open up the DRS as you'd expect, and then flat out through 2. And if you want to count this, if you want to count the kinkers 2, if not, then this is turn 2 here, down the hill, 4th gear, and then obviously get the power down the exit, turn 3, and all the way now down this section, across the first sector split, and now over the blind left hand crest, using all the track available, and then through the next swooping right hander, using the gears to really get the car to work through here and get the nose in and also traction respectively, and then through the chicane, really aggressive over the curves, really taking a big chunk out of those, and then now going to the very nice and twisty middle sector here, where you've got to really try and have a good car underneath you so they can flow through this section and that's indeed what I've got around here, as we get a really nice run through there. I wish I could have carried a little bit more speed to that right hander there, which was slightly disappointing, but still, we're in a pretty damn good lap here as we now go into the third from last corner, and only 2 more to negotiate now, braking hard for the penultimate corner. Little lock up on the left front there for good measure, but good exit actually through the penultimate one there. Little tank stopper, but nothing major lost, and then through the final corner, trying to get the power on as soon as possible, open up the DRS and run it up to the line. Where are we going to go? And it's going to be P4, I think it might have been. So not a great lap. P4, yeah, P4. So overall, not a spectacular lap. I mean, the lap itself felt good, but relative to others in terms of time, it wasn't obviously that competitive. But if we look at Raikkonen, he set a 1 minute 16 dead, and then literally myself, Lewis, Vettel all covered by like, and also Verstappen all covered by 1/10 of a second. So Raikkonen has just pulled an absolute worldie out of the bag there, literally out of nowhere. No one's touched that 16 dead all weekend. So Raikkonen pulling out a special lap here in Hungary, and what a lap it is. I mean, he's a bit of a specialist around here, so that is to be expected, but what a lap from the Iceman there. We're going to start the race on P4 tomorrow, and Hamilton gets a front row. So overall, a very enjoyable qualifying, but we're now going to move into Sunday for the race. Right, so here we are on the grid then for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I'm looking forward to it. Obviously P4, however, after qualifying, Kimi Raikkonen pulled out an absolutely mental lap. I don't know where that lap came through, but a 1 minute 16 dead. I don't know how that lap happened, but neither myself, Lewis or Sebastian could match that. And Kimi Raikkonen, once again, even though in game terms he's over 40 years of age, he's still as competitive and young as ever, and he is on a mad one. And that was an incredible lap in qualifying yesterday. But as you can see, we're going to try and hopefully, maybe have a good race and try and obviously crack into that first place. I'm hoping to have a really good start. That's what I'm hoping for. And then try and dive up the inside of turn 1 and try and at least get second place, maybe get the lead. I'd have to get an incredible start for that. But if we look at the race strategy, as you can see on screen right now, we are going to go for a 2-stop, starting on the super soft compound tyres and strapping on the softs midway through, and then eventually ending the race on super softs. So hopefully that can hopefully work for us. Also underfuel the car by half a lap, because there's quite a lot of fuel saving going on around this track. So hopefully we can have a good race here today, and hopefully we can try and beat Kimi Raikkonen and try and have a bit of a better race than the last one in Silverstone. But other than that, let's jump straight into it now for round number 11 of the season for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Right then, here we are on the grid. I'm actually pointing to the right hand side quite a bit, but here we go then. 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go for Hungary. And Raikkonen's had a shocker of a start. Sebastian Vettel off to a flyer. Also Lewis Hamilton getting a great start here. I'm going to cover the inside as the Force Inter tries to take the inside line. We're going to dive up the inside of the first corner. Huge lock up on the right front, but we just slid up the inside, made the move. Hamilton is side by side with me right now. Ocon's up into third place. Hamilton leaving me just about enough room. We're going to go around the outside of turn 2 on my teammate. Can we pull it off? Up the inside then of turn 3, side by side, and we just squeezed past, and we're into the lead of the race. And look at that, it's a Mercedes 1-2, incredible start to this Hungarian Grand Prix, and we've gone from 4th place up into 1st. Unbelievable late break move into turn 1. Just I wasn't really expecting to, but the AI actually broke really early, more than I was expecting, and I sort of had nowhere to go, so I had to commit to the move. Luckily my teammates saw me coming, and there was enough room for us to go 3 wide. But what an incredible first 2 corners, and we're into 1st place, and Ocon is in 3rd. So both of the Ferraris have had a shocking start, including Kimi Raikkonen, who started in 1st place. So this race has gotten very interesting straight away here. Okay, so far pace is absolutely brilliant. Lewis' pace is actually a little bit slower than mine, but I've just had a bit of a poor lap. I made a couple of mistakes and a few lockups here, and the DRS is now enabled, so Lewis might have a look into turn 1 here. I'm just going to hold onto my line. I'm not going to commit to a defensive manoeuvre just yet. Also, I'm not going to fight Lewis too hard, because he needs the points more than I do. I mean, I'm leading the championship by 29 points, so preferably I'd like Hamilton to actually solidify and guarantee the race win, and that way we can try and hold on to the 1-2 if it's in my hands instead of his. So if Lewis does come by me, then I'm not going to hold him up too much, like I said, because also Raikkonen is not in the top 3, so there's no point in me really fighting Lewis Hamilton if I want to try and maximise Mercedes points and also win the Constructors, which is something that we're also pushing for here this season. Right, here comes Lewis. This time he's a lot closer actually, and he's going to commit to the inside. I'm just going to let him have the inside. I'm not going to fight him too much, so we're going to go side by side to turn 1. He's going to have the inside line. I'm just going to go onto the curb slightly side by side on the exit. I don't mean to be fighting him this much, but where we are, we're still going for it. Lewis goes around my outside here. I'm sort of pinched onto the apex. I'm trying not to cause contact. I'm just going to force him out a little bit there and hold on to my lead. But overall, Hamilton did try for it there. like I said, I wasn't going to fight too hard. I mean, I was just holding the race in line, but Lewis didn't really get the job done, so maybe next time. Right, so Lewis comes in, so he's going to actually pit a lap earlier than me, which is quite interesting. So luckily that's good for us because it means Lewis is not going to get hung out to dry. The AI tends to do on strategy, and also he's in before me, so obviously the team have called him in first. So if he does undercut me, I'm not going to be too concerned because, like I said, I don't want to. I said I wouldn't hold him up, and I didn't hold him up that much like whilst battling before. I just sort of held my line, but it's just one of the things. Obviously, as long as we've got Raikkonen, you know, contained. I mean, if Raikkonen becomes a threat, then we're going to have to take action, and there's Raikkonen becoming a threat, and I think Raikkonen might have pit already, because if he's set at 19.5 or whatever it was, then that's a quick lap, so we're going to come in this lap, and we've got to respond to Kimi's pace, so we've got to get on it, otherwise we could be under risk of the undercut here. Right, here we go then into the pit lane for our first stop of the race, and it's going to be for the soft compound tyres, so very good pit entry, nice and clean, keep it nice and tidy, and now I get it also down for the speed limit, absolutely perfect. That was pretty much a textbook pit entry. Hopefully we can get that served before this car in the pit lane comes by. And there we go. No, we're going to get held up. Damn it. Ricardo just held us up. If that had been like a 2-second pit stop flat, we might have just got ahead there. But that half a second really cost us there. So we probably are going to rejoin behind Raikkonen. The question is, are we going to rejoin behind... so we're going to rejoin behind Lewis. And there's Raikkonen. And there's Lewis. How's Raikkonen done that? Raikkonen is now into the net race lead out of nowhere. He's just pulled a worldie strategy. Alright, okay, so forget trying to help Hamilton out here. Raikkonen has become a major threat, and look at this, Alonso here going very, very wide, locking up on the left front. We're just going to slide up the inside of the McLaren Honda, and there we go, up the inside and make the move. But now look at this order here, as Raikkonen's the net race leader and Hamilton's in second place and I'm in third, and look at this, we've got slow traffic up ahead, so this is going to get very, very interesting. Oh, wow. Hamilton going around the outside of Raikkonen here. Cheeky stuff. Go on, Lewis. Get him. Oh, look at that. Absolutely brilliant. And Raikkonen is just a little bit unsettled now as Hamilton makes the move. And we're right behind Raikkonen now. So this could be an opportunity for us to get past the Iceman. And we're all going to open up DRS now onto the pit straight. Rich mix enabled as we have saved some fuel. But our warm power unit is definitely struggling here at the moment as we now go into turn 1. Let's see where everyone brakes. We are going to go for a lunge on Kimi here into turn 1, and Van Dorn's gone for he's under attack by Lewis Hamilton here. Raikkonen has a great exit out of the corner here. We're going to switch to the inside line for turn 2 on Kimi. Back down to standard. Can we just make the move, shut the door on Raikkonen? There we go, and we're up into P8 and the net P2. Hamilton takes the net race lead, and now we're behind Stoffel Van Dorn. This is going to be very awkward because he's going to be very slow on them worn tyres. We're just going to try and pick up a racing line around the outside. Do we have the grip on these soft compound tyres? Van Dorn still on my inside. Huge slap of oversteer here. I'm just going to go around the outside into the chicane. Lovely move. And there we go. We're past Van Dorn. And Raikkonen has to sit behind him. And I've also held up Van Dorn a little bit there. So that's going to push Kimi Raikkonen back. And there we go. Both Ferraros pretty much on the money when it came to switching on this soft compound tyre and being a bit more competitive there. But here we are behind Lewis now. He's trying to get past Danny Kvyat, and this is going to get very close. And I think we're both going to fly past the Russian fairly shortly here, as I think he's struggling on them super soft compound tyres here, and also has a Renault further up the road. So we're just going to sit behind these two, and this should be a fairly straightforward pass with a little bit of DRS assistance down the pit straight. We're just going to follow Lewis here into the first corner, as he's going to pull to the inside on Kvyat and make the move. There you go. And we're just going to basically follow him through, so it should be fairly straightforward. And there we go. Perez actually I've just seen him go onto the medium compound tyre, which is rather interesting, as I lose a bit of end plate there. And that's going to mean that Perez is actually going to be going to the end, so he could be a threat because he was only 4 seconds behind me. So Perez might be on a bit of a winning strategy here. If he's placing the medium tyre is good, he could be a threat because he's going to go to the end. So we've got to try and get the foot down now, get the hammer down, and push on here because there's threats elsewhere to get this race win away from us. So let's try and make the move on Danny Kvyat. I've got a little bit more understeer than before, so we're going to have to sit behind Danny Kvyat for a little bit longer. Now Raikkonen is back behind us for company as I get a huge tank slapper there. That was very, very scary. Right, here we go then, onto the pit straight. DRS wide open on Danny Kvyat, and let's try and make the move. My straight line speed is down slightly due to a warm power unit. Raikkonen's also sniffing behind with some DRS. I'm just going to go to the inside to cover Raikkonen going up my inside. Also Hamilton, it's definitely hammer time as he's got the hammer down, and he's absolutely just flown past Palmer. So Hamilton doing the job now on these soft compound tyres. He seems to be a little bit quicker and happier on these, and obviously we've got to try and nurse this little bit of front wing damage, which is not major, but it's definitely noticeable. My pace has dropped a couple of tenths, so Raikkonen will be on the back of me very soon, and we'll be basically keeping him behind us for the majority of this stint, I think. Right out of the final corner here, DRS wide open on Julian Palmer. Kvyat just pits. That's going to basically promote Raikkonen into another position here. We're going to go up the inside of Palmer into turn 1. Fairly straightforward move, and a little bit of double DRS to help me out on the second straight. So now we've got to try and push as much as we can before Raikkonen catches up to us. He's got to try and negotiate Julian Palmer in the meantime. Okay, so normal order resumed now onto lap 15, and the top 3, as you can see on screen, that is what it is right now. So let's see how this stint unfolds, but we're going to be on the back foot here with this little bit of front wing damage. Here comes Kimi Raikkonen. He's got DRS wide open. He's going to try and go for the outside into turn 1 here. We're going to try and hold him on the inside, and the battle has begun. We're going to win the first one and hold on to our second place quite comfortably in turn 1, but this is going to be the first, I think, of many overtakes. It's starting to get very hard to keep Raikkonen behind me, and he's going to be right at the back of me once again this lap, and he's actually got a much better run. Also, both of the Force Indias have now caught up to both of us, so it's going to be pretty damn interesting. Raikkonen actually locks up, I think, and yes, he has, and Perez has slipped through, and they're side by side, and Perez has made the move, so look at that. And the Force Indias there have got Raikkonen and a little Pink Panther sandwich, but Hamilton's still pushing away at the front. I'm doing him a big favour this race for him to try and win it, and meanwhile, as you can see, Vettel is nowhere to be seen, and also now Raikkonen is not going to be pressuring me directly. Now it's going to be Perez instead, so we've only got a few more laps left on this tyre, and I can switch over to super softs. I might just change a little bit earlier just so I can actually get off these and not lose too much overall time. So I'm thinking around lap 23 probably, and put in a 12 lap stint on the supers, whereas obviously in the first stint we did 9 laps, but I reckon I can get 12 out of the super soft if I obviously get a fresh one, which I didn't qualify on, and also the lighter fuel load. But even still, I think no earlier, I can't do any earlier than 23 just in case for obviously tyre precaution. But right now we're looking okay. We've got to try and defend it from the Pink Panthers now, and also Raikkonen obviously. Okay, I just realised, interestingly enough, Raikkonen is actually coming to the pit lane, so Raikkonen going for a different strategy. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez all over the back of me here, but Raikkonen has come in, which is very interesting. So I'm going to presume he's going to go for another set of softs, maybe? I actually don't know. I know he's on softs before, and he didn't really make those last, so I don't know what he's going to go for now, unless he got made a mistake or something, but there was no yellow flag, so I've actually lost contact with what happened to Raikkonen. So Ferrari gone for a bit of a wildy strategy. We'll have to wait and find out. Maybe they've gone on to the mediums, but either way, that's probably going to mean now Raikkonen's going to comfortably undercut me, so I might as well hold on now and wait until that super soft tyre so I can have the massive tyre advantage and the ultimate pace at the end. Right, Lewis is coming to the pit lane, which is quite interesting, so pretty much 1 lap later than Raikkonen, so they seem to be in a bit of a different strategy. I wonder what tyre Lewis will go for, and it's super soft. That's very interesting. So is it now within the super soft tyre window? Because if it is, then I'm going to pick this lap, because that's very interesting strategy there. I hope Raikkonen hasn't gone on those tyres, otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. So we're going to come in this lap and respond to Hamilton and possibly Raikkonen going to super soft. So we're going to come in this lap and come in for these super soft compound tyres. Right, here we go then, through the penultimate corner. We're going to come in now and respond to Lewis's strategy. He's only 5 seconds down the road, so I think I've done a good job, and he should be able to comfortably catch up Sergio Perez. But here we go then, into the pit lane. We're going to get it all slowed down and come in for our final stop of the race for super soft compound tyres and also a front wing change. So let's see how this goes. I'm also very curious to see where Kimi Raikkonen is. So let's see how this all pans out, but we're going to get a front wing change. Come on, guys, a little bit quicker than that. There we go, 8.4, not too bad. There goes Sainz. Raikkonen is on super softs. That's very interesting. So he's going to have to go a long way on those to get those to the end, unless he does another stop. Either way, very interesting strategy here from Kimi Raikkonen and also Lewis Hamilton. But now we are going to push and make the most of these tyres. So let's try and get up to speed. And I've got some rich mix saved up, but I feel confident that I've got the pace. Now with the full front wing, this car should feel like it's on absolute rails. So it's time to pick up the pace. Okay, so we've got the Haas of Grosjean holding up Vettel and Ricciardo. So this is going to cost me a bit of time here, which isn't ideal, but I'm not going to panic, because also we're not in a position to really panic and get flustered in the championship. But obviously this is allowing Kimi to pull away, as all these guys are actually picking up such a weird sort of toe that I've hardly had any room to make the move on Ricciardo there. But the grip on these tyres and also the little bit of front wing difference, believe it or not, is making this huge difference to my confidence and just overall front end grip, as I'm literally pushing Vettel through the final corner here, and he's got DRS on Grosjean. I'm going to go up to Rich Mix to respond to Vettel's DRS, and Grosjean goes defensive here. So what we're going to do is a good old Ricardo dive into Hungary turn 1, as he would do himself, and there we go, nicely does it, and we're up into P6. So let's keep on pushing here and see what our pace is like. Oh, Raikkonen's got a mechanical problem, and this yellow flag up ahead on the road. Is that Kimi Raikkonen who's got an issue? Is that him slowing down? And I think it is. Yes, it's a Ferrari. It's Kimi Raikkonen. I think he might have a puncture, and it's a right rear puncture for Kimi Raikkonen. Look at that. Absolutely unfortunate scenes for the Finn and the Arseman, and that's going to really hurt him in the championship. And this is going to be a big gain for Hamilton if he can bring this race win home. Good news for me is I've not got to push the car or the engine now, but seeing as I'm not really going to use this engine anymore for any more races, this is the last race I'm going to use this engine for, and only practice sessions. I'm going to try and push hard though, and I want to try and at least get second place. So let's crack on and let's try and bring this car home in the podium in second place at least. Oh, safety car, wow. Never mind, so Raikkonen's issues must be pretty bad. So Raikkonen's definitely going that slow that he's actually caused the safety car. So we're just going to find our way around the safety car, avoid getting disqualified. But this is going to bring the pack close together now for this final few laps of the Grand Prix. So this could get very, very tasty. And Raikkonen, even though he had a puncture, because of the safety car, he's come back into play. So he's essentially triggered the safety car by himself, and he's now brought himself back into play here. So this is going to get very interesting now in this final stint. Okay, so interesting enough, Lewis has used this safety car to actually come into the pit lane and change tyres. So he's actually leaving the pit lane right now. So he's going to rejoin right in front of me and on soft compound tyres. So has Lewis thrown this race win away possibly? This is going to be very interesting. There's a Toro Rosso there of Sainz up the road. So Sainz is in second place here. Ocon is in third, and Sergio Perez, I'm pretty sure, leads the way for Force India. So this whole top 5 is absolutely messed up, but Vettel is behind me in 6th. So the whole complexion of this race has changed a bit now, and I don't know what to do. Should I just go for the race win and use the fact that obviously Raikkonen's gone out, or do I allow Hamilton to try and claw some points back in the championship and obviously guarantee that I can obviously defend from Vettel, and that way as a team we would get more points? Because I think that's probably the better option, seeing as I've got a nice cushion which is going to only grow after this race over Kimi Raikkonen. Right, the safety car is coming in this lap. We've got a lap car in the form of Marcus Ericsson there. Carlos Sainz is in second place on medium tyres, but here we go. I'm in rich mix, and I'm going to try and win this race. I'm just going to push because I can make a massive title statement here today. I think Lewis by himself on them fresh soft tyres should be able to get himself at least into second place. And who knows, if it's a 1-2, we can do a chance I might even switch positions with him. But for now, we just got to focus on ourselves and try and have a good restart. So we get past Marcus Ericsson for now, and Ocon is trying to make a move on Carlos Sainz here, and Hamilton and myself are just patiently waiting as Perez flies away at the front, and Ocon has already taken second place here. So this is going to be very interesting. We're going to go around the outside of my teammate here on my fresher, well not fresher, but my better performance to super soft tyres, and we get past Lewis very nicely here, not costing him too much time. And now we're going to try and get past Carlos Sainz very close there. I've got to say, I almost for a split second had flashbacks of earlier on in the race, but here we go. Very close to the Spaniard this time. Who's going to go for the dive into the chicane. We've got the grip, we've got the tyres, and there we go. Bish bash bosh up the inside, job done. Now, after Esteban Ocon, and Sainz actually held up, he's lost a lot of time and he's actually being pretty much hustled and hurried by everybody now. So it's a Force India 1-2, which is pretty remarkable by itself, but I think I'm going to spoil the party for them, for my former team, because I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to win races, and that's what I'm here to do. So let's try and get past Ocon here. Right, into the final corner of it, right at the back of Esteban Ocon here, and we're going to open up DRS and try and make a move. We are in rich mix, so we're giving full power here, but obviously the warm power unit is definitely playing a part. You know you're going to get this is if we go for the dive, which is what I'm going to go for here, into turn 1. No lockups, absolutely beautiful dive, and there we go, we've got the job done, and we're into second place. And now let's chase after Sergio Perez here, but I just realised I think Hamilton's actually had an issue. He's dropped off the pace because he was behind me and he's now nowhere. I swear, if Hamilton's done another stop, if he's done another, oh there he is, okay, right, I was going to say, he is so close to Ocon that I couldn't actually see him on the mini-map. And also, yellow flag up ahead, I think Palmer just retired on the last lap, which is obviously not a major thing to bring up, but still, that's Palmer out of the race. And now, let's go after Perez. Right, going on to the last lap of the race, Perez leads by just over a second. I mean, I couldn't get DRS there, so I do set a personal best, and Hamilton can't get past Ocon, so it's going to have to be a very, very superhuman final lap for me to try and get past Perez, because my last major break point, which is that one just there, is now gone, so I've got to try and pass him somewhere else this lap. Okay, so Perez has a car issue right in the last lap of the Grand Prix. This could give me the race win here. If Perez is struggling, he's going very slowly. So right in the last lap, Perez's car has let go. Just like in Baku when he was in a position to win the race, his car has just let go of him and said no. And once again, this race has happened again. We've got a great run on Perez. He's going to actually try and defend. I'm going to go back to the inside into this next right-hander here. Can we take it? I'm just going to lock up the right front and make the move. And there we go. We've got past Perez and we're into the lead of the race on the last lap of the Grand Prix here. Is there any more drama in store further down the order as Perez limps home to the finish line? We're going to come through the final corner and we're going to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. Get in there. What a result. Yes, 25 big points, and that is massive for the championship, as I believe Raikkonen did not score a point, I'm going to guess, because he would have been so far down the order because of that puncture earlier on. So we got very lucky down that last lap. Perez had the issue, otherwise we wouldn't have won that race. But even still, what a race that was. Really enjoyed that one. That was a much better race than the last one in Silverstone. And we're back on top here in Hungary. And unfortunately, Hamilton clearly managed 4th place, which is a shame after leading all race long. But I think he went too aggressive on tyre strategy. I mean, he did 3 stops that race, which was way too much. I mean, Perez did a 1 stop, for example. So disappointing in many regards. I tried to help Hamilton win, but just couldn't do anything. So overall, that is going to be his best result, obviously P4, and I'm going to take home the 25 points. But luckily, we do both gain points over Ferrari. And once again, both Pink Panthers follow me on the podium. I feel sorry for Perez, to be honest, because you could argue he was robbed of a race win in Baku, and he was definitely robbed of one here today, thanks to his car letting him down. So, you could say Perez could be a 3-time race winner this season, which is pretty mental to say he's come back to F1 after 3 years out. But overall, that was the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we're now going to move into the final race results, drivers and constructor standings to see how things shape up after that very, very crazy race. Right, so looking at the final race results, we win the Hungarian Grand Prix ahead of both of the Force Indias. Lewis Hamilton brings it home in 4th place, and then Carlos Sainz brings it home in 5th from P13 on the grid ahead of Sebastian Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, Roman Grosjean, Nico Hülkenberg, and Kimi Raikkonen getting 1 eventual point at the end of the Grand Prix there. Further down the order though, Verstappen, Palmer and Van Dorn all retire from the race, and in terms of what this is going to do for the driver standings, you can see we are 53 points clear at the top, a massive advantage, and we're flying high in this World Drivers' Championship right now. Raikkonen has lost a lot of points, and Lewis Hamilton's only 30 points behind him, and after that race, Lewis actually jumped Sebastian Vettel, and Sergio Perez, look at that, he's 2 points behind Vettel, and literally 6 points behind Lewis Hamilton. Sergio Perez is closer to Kimi Raikkonen, and also Ocon, they're both closer to Raikkonen than what Raikkonen is to me in the championship, so it's going to be a mega fight, and Force India look really good, so they could be a late shout for championship contenders if they keep on pushing like this and actually start winning a couple of races, because they're not showing any signs of stopping the development of that car. So in terms of the constructors though, you can see that we are going to extend our lead to 57 points over Ferrari, and Force India pretty much consolidating that 3rd spot now, and doing a pretty good job there of holding on to what they've got. But we're now going to jump into the laptop and see how things shape up after that crazy race. Okay, so after that race, we've won the rivalry versus Sebastian Vettel quite comfortably, and also the slider on the bottom right is pretty much maxed out in the purple, so we're now starting to really get on top of this silver arrow after that very good race, and bouncing back from a disappointing British Grand Prix there. In terms of obviously upgrades for this race, I'm not going to bring anything for the next one. I'm not going to purchase anything because even though we're going into the power circuits, I just don't have the R&D points saved up necessary, and to be honest with you, I'm not desperate for a big upgrade because the next tracks will suit our car anyway, so I think we'll be okay in Spa and Monza. So maybe after Spa, if we get enough resource points, we can get an engine upgrade, and we can maybe get this one or this one here. So maybe after Spa we can sort of get one of those, but either way, it's not a major priority, and overall the car is handling pretty damn good, so I feel good with how we are right now. And power unit wise, we're actually looking bang on target to actually use only the 4 that we have allocated with no issues and no needs to actually use new engines, which is pretty damn good. So we're looking on course here to really, for the first time ever, get 4 engines at the end of the season. But I'm not going to ramble on for much longer, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and let's try and smash 300 likes on this episode. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, do follow me on Twitter, guys, at Tom97HD. I do urge you to do that, and also do check out GTM again. The link's down below in the description. Use the code Tom97 for a cheeky 5% discount at checkout. You guys can get yourself some GT Omega swag. But other than that, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.